How's it going, guys? Goji Boy here, and today I have a review of the SH Figuarts Shinkocchou Seihou Gokai Red. Let's begin. And here is Gokai Red in all his magnificence, aka Captain Marvelous. Now, gokaiger holds a special place in my heart. It's thanks to pretty much gokaiger that I just was able to discover Super Sentai as a whole. Therefore, Kamen Rider. Gokaiger is also the first line of SH Figuarts that I started collecting. So it was a gateway to pretty much everything that I hold dear right now as a collector and enthusiast. So it's just such a blessing to have this guy as a renewal Shinkocchou Seihou figure, especially since the older one is just starting to come apart right now, but we'll get into that. So, regards to articulation, he can look upwards about that much. It is stopped ever so slightly by his collar, which is movable. It's soft plastic, so you can get a bit more range of motion. Downwards, significantly more. I will point out, I don't know if it'll be picked up on the camera, but the back of his collar on the inside is lined a bit with red. So I've noticed between that as well as the gold application right here on his chest, since this is a different form of plastic, it's the same as this up here, it's softer, that it seems to just either get dirty easier, which I don't think this was me. I think this was something out of the packaging, like paint smudges, or just, as mentioned, well, smudging itself from the other portions of his body. So something to note there. You're gonna probably see that throughout the figure. Arms can go upwards that much, thanks to these interesting butterfly joints. I say interesting just because of the way that this is shaped, but I can see why they did it. It adds to the articulation. He's able to go ahead and get some really deep crossed arm poses thanks to that, as well as his arms going backwards significantly. So I can see the reasoning for, especially since this guy does have a signature cross arms pose that he can pull off thanks to that. Bicep swivel, and it does rotate up here, so you have this separate area. This is like a little floating piece, and then you have the bicep, double jointed elbows, wrist rotation. His cuffs also move independently, as you can see. And they do have like a little bit of paint in between each row to make that pop. Chest does have the rotation up top, lets him lean backwards about that much in combination with the waist, as well as forwards about, I want to say about that much. So not as significant, but well enough. His belt is very nicely detailed as well, and these parts right here, little skirt flaps, are that same nice soft plastic. He can kick forward that much, backwards. He has that thigh cut as well as some more rotation on the inside right here. Double jointed knees. He's got the lower portion of his leg right here. His calves do have rotation as well. Very nice ankle rocker and a toe hinge. So this guy's got it all. And the detail on him is just striking. Like, I love the contrast between the way the suit is that nice softer plastic and it's more of that matte finish in comparison to like the way his helmet is just super shiny and glossy. It's just awesome. All right, I'm gonna try to get him in a vanilla pose here, and we're gonna go over his accessories real quick. So let's just try to get him standing up right there. So in regards to the accessories, this guy is gonna come with a variety. So he's gonna have a total of, let me see here, 7 pairs of hands and 1 additional left hand. So for starters, he will have the fisted pair of hands that he comes with straight out of the packaging, as well as a pair of relaxed hands, which these in turn can be used for just general posing, as well as the fact that he can hold his mobiritz. So here's one more in line for that. This is for holding his Gokai saber. He also has a pair of hands to hold his gun. As you can see, he's got the trigger finger. Another set of holding hands. Then he's gonna have a pair of hands specifically for that crossed arms pose that I was mentioning. So the fingers are more dipped in to tuck away into the areas of his elbows when he's crossing his arms. He does not come with a separate options part like the original one did, which is totally fine. This guy successfully pulls off the crossed arms pose, no problem. And lastly, he has that additional solo left hand to do his signature pose where he's kind of grabbing at his collar. So, an array of hands altogether, fantastic. He also comes with a closed / open version of the mobiritz. So the original Gokai Red did not have this version right here. So the fact that this guy comes with it is super cool. Here is the open one. And I'm gonna go ahead and bring the older one into the mix right here. So in my right hand, I have the old one, left the new. So it looks like the older one is ever so slightly bigger and yet lacks as much of the details as the newer one when it comes to paint applications and what have you. So that's pretty cool to actually see. He also comes with 3 forms of the Ranger key. And what I mean by that is he is going to have his standard Ranger key where the figure is not folded up, if you will. Right there. And then he's gonna come with 2 versions where the key is folded up. The first one is gonna have more of the silver area. This is gonna be more for like when he is holding it just for posing. Whereas the other one has less of a silver area because this is the one that you can actually port into the mobiritz or the weapons. So the older version did not have this additional Ranger key. Instead, it came with a molded accessories part where the key was already in place into the interchangeable parts of the weapons, but it was not highly detailed and lacked the paint, so you couldn't really distinguish that there was a key in there. It just looked like one big silver gray piece. And what I mean by that is this portion right here. So this is supposed to pull outwards and you could port the key. So the old one had one really big accessory part that you swap out, but you couldn't really distinguish it. So with that being said, here is the saber. Very, very nicely detailed. I especially like the fact that the grip right here is actually textured. So bringing in the old one. Yet again, the old one seems to be slightly bigger and yet lacks the details, such as that textured grip that I was talking about, as well as like the sheen in here is different. So nice color separation right there. And then his blaster right here. Also textured on this portion. This also comes up and you can insert the key. Here is the old blaster. So I want to say these look to be about the same size. No. The newer one is actually bigger in this case and more detailed, so that's cool. All right, so that's it when it comes to the accessories, but as you can see, he comes with a lot. He has a lot to offer. And now into the mix, we have the original, which is a striking difference. My guy looks like a bootleg, and that is to be the case whenever they release a Shinkocchou Seihou. The old one just doesn't even look like it was an official release. The proportions are, of course, off. This guy has a bigger helmet, chest just looks, full, looks like a dude in a suit, whereas this guy is really lacking. But again, this figure, I picked them up back like in maybe 2012, 2013, so it's been a long time coming for a redo of him. So I'm gonna do a rotation, and if your old Gokai Red is anything like mine, his legs are giving way. I believe so much so that this guy actually did break at one point, and I've been really careful, so his leg is just super loose. It probably is broken, I can't remember honestly. So moving him out of the way, we're gonna go ahead and compare him real quick with another Shinkocchou Seihou, being the Kyoryu Red, right there. And we're gonna go ahead and bring in the newly released Shinkocchou Seihou Kamen Rider Gaim. And man, just right out of the show. That's all I gotta say. These guys are just right out of the shows. So cool. With that, let's go ahead and jump into the final portion of this video. So what can I say that I already haven't? This guy is a win. Everything about him when it comes to the details of his suit, his accessories, the variety of accessories, and just sheer amount of poses and stuff that you can do with him, solid, knocks it out of the park. This guy is a definite must for any fan of Super Sentai, Power Rangers, Kamen Rider, or if you simply want a renewed version of your old one, if you're simply a collector in that case. This guy is a must. Again, Gokaiger holds a special place in my heart. It is the gateway to any Super Sentai and Kamen Rider, so much so that I have a cosplay of this guy from Aniki Cosplay that I bought years ago. So I just adore him. If you have any questions, please feel free to leave them down in the comments below. You can check out my Instagram at gojiboy93, where you're going to find photos of this guy and many other figures in my collection. Thank you guys so much. Until next time, peace.